Hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel. It's October. It is officially the Halloween season, which means it's time for another set of horror-themed retro movie reviews. And for this year, I'm going to be tackling not all, but a majority of the classic Universal monsters. And I'll explain why in a future video. I'm going to be covering a majority of the movies all the way up to The Creature Walks Among Us. But first, we got to start with this. This is my retro review for The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which came out in 1923, 102 years ago, and is now the record holder for the oldest movie I have reviewed on the channel. The movie stars the man of a thousand faces, Lon Chaney, as Quasimodo, the title Hunchback of Notre Dame. But the movie isn't about Quasimodo. I dare even say he's not even the main character of the film. This is more about the underworld of Paris being oppressed and dealing with social injustices, particularly with the character of Esmeralda, who is viewed as a gypsy, and Quasimodo comes into play in the sense that he's a deformed hunchback and is treated unfairly by his master. Now, originally, I didn't plan to review The Hunchback of Notre Dame as part of this series of retro movie reviews. I was gonna start with Lon Chaney's other classic, The Phantom of the Opera from 1925, but after hearing James Rolfe and Antonia Carlotta talk about this movie and how it essentially spawned the entire Universal monster franchise, I figured it's too important to just gloss over it. And plus, Quasimodo is apparently in the Monsters Unchained ride at Epic Universe, so I guess it would just feel weird if I left out an essential film of the Universal monsters. And after watching this movie, I can kind of see why I initially opted not to review it as part of this series, because this really isn't a horror movie. This is more of a historical drama. It's based off the Victor Hugo story, obviously, and people in my generation are more familiar with the Disney animated film. But I wouldn't really go out of my way to say this is a horror movie. However, that's not to say it's a bad movie, because it's not, and there are definitely things that happen in this movie that would carry over into the official Universal monster films. But let's talk about the movie itself. What works about it? First of all, Lon Chaney. This is the very first movie of his that I'm reviewing because he was a star of the silent era. He unfortunately died of throat cancer just around the time the silent film era was dying out. And he was known for being the man of a thousand faces because of his different appearance in literally every movie he's in. His makeup work on Quasimodo is grotesque, it's horrifying at points, but you also feel very sorry for him. Quasimodo is a very sympathetic character, and it's these elements of Quasimodo that kind of carry over into a lot of Universal monsters, where they are grotesque looking, but they're also not villainous. Some of them, like the Frankenstein monster, are very sympathetic and are treated unfairly because people don't quite understand that. And Lon Chaney accomplishes all of this through great physical acting. Obviously, this is a silent movie, so you have to be as over-the-top and physical with your performance as possible, but he really makes it work. The rest of the actors are good as well. Patsy Ruth Miller is great as Esmeralda, and she has one of the most iconic sequences with Lon Chaney, and that's in the Court of Miracles, where Quasimodo is chained up and put on display for everyone to see. But Esmeralda is the only one that actually has sympathy for him and offers him water. We saw a version of this in the Disney movie, but here it's done a lot better. Brandon Hurst as Jahan, Quasimodo's master, is truly despicable in this movie, and he really does get his comeuppance. The movie also has a fantastic scope to it. You really feel like you're in 15th century Paris. And considering that this is a movie made in 1923, 102 years ago, it's quite an accomplishment that you feel the scope and you feel like you're actually at Notre Dame. To be honest, I don't have much else to say about this movie. It's really good. I'm not in love with it. I don't think it's a masterpiece per se. And this mainly has to do with the fact that silent movies are kind of a difficult type of film to watch for my generation. I know that's not fair to the movie itself, but I just didn't find it as engaging as some of the other Universal monster films that I'm going to be talking about. And it's not one that I go out of my way to seek out and watch again, but I'm glad that I did. Because without this movie, I don't think the Universal Monster brand would even be a thing, because without this movie, there'd probably be no Phantom of the Opera. And I believe the story is that Lon Chaney was actually offered to play the role of Dracula when Universal was doing their adaptation, but of course he died before that movie even went in production. So this movie is truly an important benchmark to where I'd say it's good, you should definitely see it, but it's not great. As a movie itself, it's entertaining, but like with a lot of silent movies, you kind of have to be in the right mindset, especially with something as heavy as The Hunchback of Notre Dame, whereas something like a Buster Keaton or Charlie Chaplin comedy, anybody could enjoy those movies because it's physical comedy and a little more accessible than a historical drama. But that being said, I may not love this movie, but that doesn't take away the historical importance that this movie has. And there you go, that's my review for 1923's The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I obviously prefer this more than the Disney animated movie, and while it doesn't end on the super depressing note that the book ends, it doesn't have that cheerful happy ending that the Disney movie kind of forces into its adaptation. So next up is going to be the other Lon Chaney Universal monster film, and the one that I was supposed to start this series with, The Phantom of the Opera, which turns 100 years old this year. So this will be the third movie I reviewed this year celebrating its 100th anniversary, but that's for next time. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching this review, and I want to give a special thank you to my subscribers and YouTube members right over here. You guys are the reason why this channel continues to grow every day, and if you want to help to financially support the channel, you can do so via YouTube memberships for as little as $1.99 a month. But until next time, I want to know what you guys think about The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Whatever your opinions are, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. If you want to find me elsewhere on the internet, you can find me on these social media platforms and my theme park and travel channel right here on YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.